Hello viewers, good afternoon. I am K. Bujiram from TTWREIS Boys, Narsapur. Today I stand in front of you to explain you a very interesting topic. So before going to my topic, let me tell you an interesting incident so that you can understand what is the theme of our topic better. So have you ever observed a motor pump? How it works? Yes, it is interesting to observe a motor pump. A motor pump, when we switch it on, it works and it draws out water continuously from underground until we switch it off. Similarly, there is an organ in our body which works continuously. It starts working from the day of 21st day of our birth in our mother womb, and it works continuously, whereas a motor pump, it may work for 6 months, 4 months, and after that it may discharge. But there is no a machine called pumping machine which works like a heart, which can continuously work. So we have to appreciate a heart. It starts beating around the 21st day when we are in a mother womb. It forms in our mother womb and it starts beating. It keep on beating, and it works until we lost our breath. It means it works until we death. And heart is located in thoracic cavity. Heart is a triangular. It is triangular in shape. It is wider at the upper ends, and it is small, narrower it downward ends, and it is a shape of our feet. It is slightly located towards the left side of our body, because let me tell you, because it is located in between the lungs, called a cavity called thoracic cavity. It is well protected by rib cage, and also it is additionally protected by lungs. And due to pressure from the right lung, it slightly bends towards the left. Have you ever think why it is slightly bends towards the left? Yes, your thinking is correct. The right lung is bigger in size when compared to the left lung, because it has 3 lobes and it presses the heart so that it moves slightly towards the left side, and it is protected by rib cage. Additionally, it is protected by a layer called pericardium layer. Heart is a double layered organ. It is protected by a layer called pericardial layer, and that layer protects the heart from any kind of external injuries. For example, when a person kicks to another man at his hard chest, then he don't get any shock, because he has additional protect by rib cage, lungs, and as well as the layer called pericardial layer. It protects the heart from any kind of injuries, because it contains a fluid which is in transparent medium. It moves very slightly when we kick it up. It moves like very fastly. And if you observe the heart, we find very interesting things in heart. There are 4 rooms. The rooms of the heart are called chambers. These chambers are divided by muscular partition. There are 4 chambers. The chambers are 2 atria and 2 ventricles. And heart contains 4 major blood vessels. They are vein and arteries. These veins bring blood from most of the body parts except lungs, and whereas these arteries brings blood from body parts, from heart to various parts of the body they supply. And here coronary arteries are the arteries of the heart's own arteries. They supply blood to heart, because heart is also an organ. It has to supply it with blood. So that coronary artery does that work. So we have seen the external feature of heart. Now let us look inside the heart. So when we cut the heart transversally, we find many interesting things in the heart. Friends, do you want to know what are those? So let us look at the figure. Here the heart is divided into 4 chambers. They are right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. And there are 4 major blood vessels in the heart. They are superior and inferior vena cava. They are also known as precaval vein and postcaval vein, and pulmonary artery, pulmonary veins, and systemic aorta. Pulmonary artery is the smallest artery in our body, whereas systemic aorta is the largest artery in our body. It supplies blood to most of the body parts, except it supplies blood to anterior parts of the body, including head, arms, etc. And there are muscular partition, and there are 2 walls between the right atrium and right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. The wall which is present between right atrium and left ventricle is called tricuspid wall, and the wall which is present between left atrium and right ventricle, called bicuspid wall, which is also known as mitral valve. This wall does the interesting work. They prevents the blood to flow in 2 directions. They make the heart to work in only one way direction. They not allow the blood to flow in 2 directions. So we have seen what are arteries and ventricles. Now let us look at them deeply. The arteries and veins. Arteria and ventricles are the chambers of the heart. Arterias are the 2 major chambers of the heart. They are located in the upside of the heart, and the arterias are smaller in size compared to ventricles, and the walls of arterias are smaller. They are relatively thicker than the walls of ventricles. So we have seen how these are divided. The wall which is present between right atrium and right ventricle is called tricuspid wall, and the wall which is present between left atrium and left ventricle called bicuspid wall or mitral valve. So you may got doubt how these 4 chambers are separated. Yes, you are right. These 4 chambers are separated by a muscular layer called septum. Septum is made up of muscles. It is a muscular partition which divides the heart into 4 chambers, and it prevents the mixing of blood. Interestingly, there are 2 kinds of blood flows in heart. From here right side, the deoxygenated blood flows, whereas in left side, oxygenated blood flows. So this septum separates the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. So we have seen these walls, which are the wall which is present between the right atrium and right ventricle called tricuspid wall, and the wall which is present between left ventricle and left atrium called mitral valve or bicuspid wall. This wall prevents the mixing of blood or reverse flow of the blood. They make the blood to flow in only one direction. So we have seen how blood flows. So let us see here diagrammatically. Here the blood from right atrium is collected by superior and inferior vena cava respectively. The blood moves through the right atrium, right ventricle with a pressure, because when it contracts, the blood moves to right atrium, and again after the contraction of right ventricle, the blood moves into artery called pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery, the name only suggests that pulmonary means related to lungs. Generally, veins carry blood away they carry deoxygenated blood, whereas here pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood. So this pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, and it supplies deoxygenated blood to lungs. Why? Because as we know, lungs are made up of alveoli. Alveoli and capillaries are building blocks of lungs. This lung, at the lung, their exchange of gases takes place. Their exchange of O2 and CO2 takes place, and the blood from there reaches to left atrium through pulmonary veins. I have told you, as the pulmonary veins, they carry oxygenated blood except veins. So they bring blood to right atrium, left atrium, and the activity of right atrium, left atrium is to contract. So when it contracts, the blood flows to the left atrium, left ventricle through a valve called, what is the valve? Yes, it is mitral valve or bicuspid wall. So this valve prevents the reverse flow of blood. It makes to flow the blood in one direction only. So the blood which is in left ventricle again moves to systemic aorta. I have told you, systemic aorta is the largest artery in human body, which pumps blood to most of the body parts, including head, arms, etc. So we have seen there are 4 major blood vessels. They are superior. We have seen 4 major blood vessels. They are superior and inferior vena cava, pulmonary veins, pulmonary artery, and systemic aorta. So let us see what superior and inferior vena cava does the work. The superior and inferior vena cava are also known as postcaval and precaval vein respectively. So this superior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood. I mean, deoxygenated means it's the blood which contains more amount of carbon dioxide. It collects deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body and it collects to the right atrium. Now the activity of right atrium is to contract. Now the blood moves to right ventricle. So the blood which is in right ventricle, after the contraction of right ventricle, the blood moves into right pulmonary artery. This pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood to lungs, because lungs are organs which purify oxygen. It means their exchange of gases takes place. Their exchange of CO2 and O2 takes place because of alveoles, or exchange of gases takes place at capillaries. And these are pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins means they carry deoxygenated blood. Except the pulmonary veins, these veins carry oxygenated blood from lungs. After the purification of blood at lungs, after the exchange of gases at lungs, the blood moves through the heart by means of pulmonary veins. These are 4 attached to the heart in 2 directions, 2 each to 2 lungs. They carry oxygenated blood, and the blood is collected in left atrium. Now the left atrium contracts and it forces the blood to move into what? To move into left ventricle. Now you may observe that the blood which comes very pressurely, it tries to go back into atrium, but interestingly there is a valve called mitral valve which prevents the reverse flow of blood. I have told you, as it prevents and it doesn't allow the blood to move in 2 directions. So we have seen here, let us see here diagrammatically. So the blood which is from superior and inferior vena cava, it is collected in right atrium, and after the contraction of right atrium, the blood moves through tricuspid wall and it collected in right ventricle. After the contraction of right ventricle, the blood moves into right. There we observe that a lub sound after when tricuspid wall and here bicuspid wall, they closes to prevent the reverse flow of blood. We observe lub sound. Interestingly, when the blood from right ventricle, it moves into pulmonary valve, pulmonary artery, it contains a valve called pulmonary valve which prevents the reverse flow of blood, because blood should not flow reverse. It has to carry, it works continuously. Interestingly, in here the left ventricle, the blood again moves to systemic aorta. It also contains a valve called pulmonary or aortic valve which also prevents the reverse flowing of blood. So when the valves, pulmonary valve and and aortic valve closes, we heard a sound called dub. The lub sound is smaller when compared to dub sound. They are called systole and diastole. So we have seen, as we observed, that the blood circulates from our body through, it flows twice through our heart through various body parts. Let us see how it happens. The blood from various parts of the body is collected through vein called superior and inferior vena cava, and the blood moves to lungs for purification. As we know, their exchange of gases takes place. The blood from lungs returns to heart with a low pressure, and as the heart is a pumping organ which pumps continuously, so it makes the blood to flow continuously with a high pressure. So the blood from left atrium and left ventricle, they pumps the blood to various parts of the body, including head, arms, and the blood reaches even to the foot, even to the edge of a foot. Means the heart maintains a pressure with a heavy pressure it maintains. We can observe here diagrammatically, the blood from various parts of the body reaches to the heart with the lowest pressure, because they reaches the heart with a valve called superior and inferior vena cava. They do not have valve, so they reach slowly, and the activity of heart, as we discussed, is to pump. So it pumps the blood to lungs. There the purification of blood, that is exchange of gases, takes place at alveoli, and the blood returns to heart through means of pulmonary veins. Yes, through pulmonary veins it reaches to heart, and the heart pumps the blood to various parts of the body. Blood reaches to various parts of the body. It even reaches to the edge of our nail. That's why we are actively doing work. So it even reaches to edge of our body. So what happens when the blood cannot do continuously work, or if it fails to do it work continuously? Yes, your imagination is right. If it doesn't do work continuously, we may get diseases related to heart. The heart diseases are called cardiovascular diseases. There are different types of diseases are called cardiovascular diseases. So let me tell you some few cardiovascular diseases. They are congenital heart diseases. These diseases we get by birth. Means when we birth, there may take some malformation of limbs. The hole may continue, the septum may not closes the arteries and ventricle perfectly. So this is congenital heart diseases, arrhythmia, myocardial infarction, coronary heart diseases, artery diseases, dilated cardiomyopathy, heart failure, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, mitral regurgitation. So these are the various kinds of diseases we get due to if heart doesn't function properly. So have you ever think why we get heart related diseases? Yes, I am here to solve your doubt. Yes, we get various kind of diseases because of our activity. Coronary heart disease is a disease which gets when the oxygen do not reaches to the blood. As we discussed, coronary artery is it is the one artery of heart which supplies blood to its muscles. So this muscle called coronary artery, it blocks due to our activity. It doesn't work properly. Therefore, the blood doesn't flow through the heart. Therefore, it stops and it doesn't do work. Heart failure, it means due to not flowing of blood to heart, the heart failure occurs. Means the blockage of coronary arteries may lead to heart failure and mitral regurgitation. It means, as we discussed, there is a valve called mitral valve or bicuspid wall between left atrium and left ventricle. It sometimes do not work properly because it sometimes do not work properly, because as we do a work, we do some works relating to in opposite of this, so it do not do work completely. So it makes the blood and the blood mixes, the blood may not flow correctly. So let us see, as we getting these diseases, how can we control of these diseases? Yes, I am here to clear all your doubts. Let me suggest you some simple ways, 7 simple ways. If you follow the 7 simple ways, we can get rid of heart related diseases. So let me tell you 7 simple ways. They are life's simple 7 rules. So if you follow these simple ways, we can live better from heart related diseases. The first one is avoid smoking and using tobacco products. We may see many people using tobacco products, drinking, and they may smoke cigarette, and they eat gudka, all this. But it gives enjoy for a moment, but not lifelong. We have to remember it. So the enjoy for a moment is not the enjoy for the life. We have to remember it, and we should not take any smoking and using tobacco products. Be physically active every day. How can we be physically active? It means we have to do some physical activities like running, jogging, and doing some things which gives some physical activity to our heart or to our body, so that the blood may flow continuously, and if there is any accumulation of blood, lipids or fats, the blood that will completely dissolve. So we have to do physical activity every day compulsorily. Eat a hot healthy diet. So how can we eat a hot healthy diet? So it is on our hands. It is on our hands to eat hot healthy diet. We should not take the diet related to the diet called containing high fats. There are 2 types of fat. Let me tell you, they are saturated and unsaturated. Most of the people takes saturated fat, which completely do not dissolve, and it makes the arteries and veins, it may accumulate in arteries and veins, and therefore the flow of blood continuously do not happens. So we should not take fat related foods. We should take only vegetables and fiber fruits. Keep healthy weight. How can we keep healthy weight? We should not take junk food, and we should keep in our mind that we should keep our body mass index called BMI. Our body weight and our body should depend on our body. So if the body weight is equal to our heart size, our heart is in the shape of fist, which is only this much. If your body is very fat, it is very difficult for heart to supply blood to to each and every cell. So it is in our hands to control our weight. And next point is keep your blood pressure healthy. So don't think always negatively. If you think negatively, your blood pressure called BP increases. It is common, as the age increases, the BP, blood pressure increases. So we have to think positively, then the blood pressure will not increases. Doing physical activity every day, we can avoid blood pressure. And remember the utmost thing called doing meditation for 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes morning and 15 minutes evening, so that you can get rid of any kind of pressure and you can do any kind of activities freely. Keep your total weight and cholesterol healthy. So always remember, so it is our duty to save our heart. It is a very precious organ to save. It is in our hands. So I want to conclude that it is in our hands. So dear friends, remember always, health is wealth, and enjoy for a moment is not the enjoy for the life. I want to conclude, and I want to say that protect your precious heart. I convey my special thanks to TSET members and Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar sir, and school principal Charles sir, and my mentor teacher Manjula ma'am and Sivakumar sir, and my school staff teacher. Thank you all of you. Thank you.